Imagine a world where treasure hunts are not just stories, but a way of life. In this world, we meet Tommy. Picture a young boy, bursting with energy, filled with an insatiable curiosity, and armed with a sharp mind that thrives on puzzles and challenges. This is Tommy, an unyielding spirit with an adventurous heart. Tommy's world revolves around the thrill of discovery, the rush of solving a complex puzzle, and the joy of embarking on daring adventures. Every day is a new opportunity for him to quench his thirst for the unknown. But it's not all fun and games for Tommy. His adventures are also his tests of bravery, resilience, and wit. One day, Tommy's life takes an exciting turn as he stumbles upon an old, weathered map. This isn't just any map. It's a promise of an adventure that could surpass all his previous exploits. And so, with a heart full of courage and a map in his hand, Tommy embarks on this exciting treasure hunt. Every treasure hunt has its fair share of challenges, and Tommy's was no exception. Now, the first challenge that lay before Tommy was a riddle, a cryptic puzzle that was etched right onto the treasure map. It was like the map was whispering secrets only to those brave enough to listen. You see, Tommy was a quick thinker, a real whiz kid. He had this knack for solving puzzles, a skill that would prove to be mighty useful on this treasure hunt. So there he was, squinting at the map under the dim light of his trusty flashlight, trying to make sense of what seemed like an impossible task. But Tommy wasn't the type to give up easily. He was determined to crack this riddle, to unravel the mystery that would lead him to his first checkpoint. He started by breaking down the riddle, line by line, word by word. He mulled over each phrase, each cryptic hint. He knit his brows, chewed the end of his pencil, and scribbled notes on a piece of scrap paper. He was in a world of his own, a world of puzzles and mysteries, and he loved every bit of it. Tommy, undeterred by the challenges, moved forward, ready to face whatever came next. As our story unfolds, Tommy found himself standing before a river, its waters rushing and roaring with a ferocity that would make the bravest of hearts quiver. But not Tommy's. His determination was as unyielding as the hill that loomed ahead, tall and daunting, its peak hidden behind a veil of thick clouds. Two formidable obstacles lay ahead, a test of physical endurance and a testament to his willpower. As he looked at the river, he knew that crossing it would be no easy feat. With every passing second, the river seemed to grow wilder, more untamed. But Tommy was not one to back down. He searched his surroundings, his eyes falling on a fallen tree trunk. With a spark of ingenuity, he used the trunk as a makeshift bridge, cautiously making his way across the turbulent waters, one careful step at a time. Upon reaching the other side, he was met with the steep hill. Its slope was treacherous, the path slippery. But Tommy was not deterred. With resilience burning bright in his eyes, he began his ascent. Every step was a struggle, every breath a battle. But Tommy did not falter. He dug his fingers into the dirt, pulled himself up inch by inch until he finally reached the top. His clothes were muddied, his hands scraped. His breath was ragged, his body tired. But the gleam of victory in his eyes outshone any sign of exhaustion. He had crossed the river, scaled the hill, and in doing so, had overcome the second challenge. His spirit was not broken, his resolve unshaken. He stood there, on top of the hill, looking out into the distance. The path ahead was still long, the journey far from over. He had faced trials and tribulations, but he had also tasted victory, and with that taste still fresh on his lips, he knew he was ready for what was to come. With sweat on his brow and victory in his heart, Tommy moved on, the treasure now even closer. The final hurdle stood between Tommy and his treasure, but nothing could stop him now. The last barrier, the final test, was the most daunting of them all. But Tommy, our young adventurer, was not the type to back down. His quest had led him to the mouth of a dark and eerie cave. It was said to house the coveted treasure. However, it was also the embodiment of Tommy's deepest fear. The fear of the unknown, the fear of darkness. Yet our brave little hero knew there was no turning back. This was his moment. The moment to face his fear, to prove his mettle, to claim his treasure. He took a deep breath, mustering up all the courage he could gather. His heart pounded in his chest, his palms were sweaty, but his resolve was stronger than ever. With a determined stride, he stepped into the belly of the cave. Inside, the cave was a labyrinth of twists and turns. Every shadow, every echo sent a shiver down his spine. But Tommy pressed on, his spirit unwavering. He navigated through the darkness, his fear slowly receding, replaced by a sense of exhilaration, of anticipation. And then, after what felt like an eternity, Tommy's hand grazed something solid, something metallic. His heart skipped a beat. There it was. The treasure! An antique chest, filled to the brim with gold coins, shimmering in the faint light seeping into the cave. The sight was enough to take his breath away. With the treasure in his hands, Tommy was overjoyed. But as he held the chest, he realized something profound. The gold was indeed precious, but the real treasure was not the chest. It was the journey he had embarked on, the fears he had faced, and the challenges he had overcome. The treasure was a symbol, a testament to his courage, his determination, and his spirit of adventure. And with that realization, Tommy's triumph was complete. With the treasure in his hands, Tommy realized that the true treasure was the journey he had embarked on and the